For today's menu, I'll be making a simple Tres Leches Cake. Take a look at it. Now, it's not too big, so if you're only making it for 1 or 2 people, you don't have to have any guilt. But it's definitely sweet and delicious and moist. You're watching The Bear Pantry Show. Alright, here are the ingredients that we're going to need. Take a look. This is 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and I sifted it already, and I have a teaspoon of baking powder in this, okay? This is 1/2 cup or 1 stick of butter, and I'm making it come to room temperature. Right here I have 1 cup of regular white sugar. This is only 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I have 5 eggs, and I've separated them, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do with this. This is for the actual cake. This is for the frosting that's going to go on top of the cake, okay? So this is 1.5 cups of heavy whipping cream, and not half and half, it's heavy whipping cream. And this is 1 cup of white sugar. This is 1 whole teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then this is the one that makes it the Tres Leches. These are the 3 milks. This is 2 cups of whole milk, and 1 can of condensed, any brand will do, and 1 can of evap. So now the first thing that I'm going to do is set our oven to preheat on 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And then I'm going to put all the milks back in the fridge while I'm working on the cake, because I want everything to be cold when we're working with this stuff, okay? So this is the kind of cake that you have to cream the butter and the sugar first. After about 6 to 8 minutes, it's time to add the egg yolks. And did you guys see how Jada separated these for me earlier on? Now it's time for the vanilla extract. And then the dry ingredients, which is the flour and the baking powder. And I want to add this in 3 to 4 installments thereabouts, because it's going to be dry, because I don't have the whites of the eggs mixed in to make it moist yet. So there we go with the last batch of flour. And just get it worked in really, really well. And then I stop and clean off my mixer, and I go ahead and beat the egg whites to a peak. And that only takes about 5 or 6 minutes. And then I add it back to the batter, you know, like half at a time, and just get it worked into the batter. You don't have to separate the egg whites from the egg yolks in this cake, but I like doing it because it makes it more spongy. So we just want to get this worked in really well. And the batter's not a whole lot, so I don't think it's going to fit in a 9x13 pan. So what I've greased and floured is a 9x9 pan. And I suppose that an 8x8 pan would work fine too. So here we go. The batter's all ready. No dry spots on the bottom. Pour it into my beautiful little pan here that's thoroughly greased and floured. Then into the oven it goes on 350 degrees Fahrenheit, preheated for about a ½ hour. And meanwhile the cake is baking, I'm mixing the Tres Leches together. And you know what? I could just drink this just like this. But I'm not gonna, because I know it's not good for me. I'm gonna pour it on top of the cake where it's gonna be better, right? I'm gonna behave. So let's whisk our milk together and then check on the cake and put my skewer in, and look, it comes out clean. So then the cake is done. As simple as that. Put it on the cooling rack for about 10 minutes, at which point I use my knife, my butter knife, to just separate the edges. And then after I get it on all sides, I go ahead and dump it out onto the cooling rack and allow it to cool completely for about a ½ hour. Meanwhile, I'm going to make the frosting. Look, I have my pan and the feet from the mixer in the freezer, and I always do that for 15 minutes to a ½ hour. I beat the heavy cream to a peak. I beat it for like 7 minutes before I start adding the granulated sugar, because I don't want to overbeat this and let it become like cottage cheese, because then it will no longer be good. Now it's time to add the vanilla extract or essence to this. Very simple frosting. Put the cake back in the same pan. Some people cut off the top if it's kind of swollen, but why waste good cake? You know, so get a fork and stab it. This is the kind of cake that you can get your frustrations out on, you guys. Alright, so it's time to pour the Tres Leches. Look. Just go slowly and then pause, alright? Because you wanted to get into the cake. So this takes some time. Alright guys, so look, I've been taking my time. This is the longest part of making this cake, because you have to go, see, I dumped it in a smaller thing. Painstakingly slow, so you need something that's deep if the you know, to match with the height of the cake, because you just have to pour it very slowly and let it absorb in there. And now it's time to frost the cake, and this is a lot of frosting, so I might only end up using like half of this bowl. Look at it, it's so smooth to spread, and you guys know I suck at spreading frosting, so don't judge me, okay? I'm gonna have to take classes one of these days, I'm sure. Now take a look. My spatula goes in and I get out this first big hunk of beautiful cake. For my Latino viewers, mira. Beautiful, huh? Look at it. Gorgeous. Oh my goodness, this is so fantastic. I promise you guys are gonna love this. Don't forget to check out my website to purchase copies of any of the books. Go to bearpantryshow.com and click on the store tab. You may or may not know that I have a Tres Leches Cake recipe at the site already, but I really wanted to try this one because it was so easy and simple, very few ingredients, it was easy to assemble. It's a small cake, so if you want a bigger one for a party, just double the recipe, okay? I separated the egg whites from the egg yolks and beat it to a peak because I wanted the cake to be a little bit more fluffy so that when we poured all the liquid on top, it didn't fall apart or turn into like bread pudding. But you can definitely add the eggs in whole and not separate them if that's too much hassle for you, okay? On the top, I did the heavy whipping cream with the sugar and made a little frosting out of it. But you can definitely just put some Cool Whip on the top to make your life a little bit more easy. If you like the video, hit like below for me, share it with your friends and family, and until I see you guys again, take care. So I went to work and I let the cake sit in the refrigerator all day, and I was dreaming of it, but not more than Jada. Wednesday had her surgery today. She got spayed. Look at the poor baby.